There's no mystery today as our sponsor, 3 Points Travel, specialise in mystery football tours across Europe. Each package includes 3 points, matchday tickets, return flights and weekend accommodation. Plus, you'll also receive personalised city and club guides and team merch. Unbox your mystery team and location before departure. All this starts for £300 per person. And with recent trips going to Milan, Como and Frankfurt, you'll be sure to have a winning weekend. Join the club and book yours today. And if you use the discount code BALLTALK10, you'll get 10% off your booking. This episode is sponsored by Torn Sports, and they are calling all pro footballers, as this one's specifically for you. Torn Sports have just dropped their brand new bespoke grip socks. And trust me, these are next level. You can customise everything from your sock heights to initials, even your club logo. And if you're not a fan of grip socks, no problem, they'll remove the grips for you. It's your sock and your style. These are elite quality and right now they're exclusive just for pros. Comment below if you want in or give us a message on our socials. The link is in the description. Welcome back to Ball Talk with me, Lewis Bryon, and today I'm joined as usual by St Albans striker Ken Charles. And Ken, as it's coming to the end of the season, near the end, we'll give a little 2024-25 Premier League season recap. Yeah?
Cool.
So obviously we start off with Liverpool. Pretty much got the title now. I don't know if they've not officially won it yet, have they?
Nah, but I think at the weekend, I think if Arsenal drop points or anything like that,
or if they win,
I think if they win as well, it'll just be there. So yeah.
So let's just talk about that. Do you think it's more dominance or gifted with Liverpool's title?
It's tough because I don't want to take credit away from what they've done, nor should anyone really. Like, we're biased as Arsenal fans, and you know, you could look at the league and say, you know, we was disrupted with injuries. Loads of other teams were disrupted with injuries. So they ended up pretty much being the only team that had a full strength squad throughout the season.
Yeah.
And that's kind of decided the title. But at the same time, you know, they have been good. They have been really decent and they've run away with it at the end. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like it's tight anymore. So credit where it's due, you know, it's well deserved for them.
Yeah. The thing is, though, obviously credit where it's due, but like you said, they were the only team that didn't get the injuries that their competitors, Arsenal, City, had. If them teams didn't get their injuries and had a fully fit squad like Liverpool pretty much have, I don't think they win it.
No, I don't think this Liverpool team's as good as last season's City team that won it,
no,
or Arsenal's team that came second up by 1 point or 2 points it was. So if we're assuming that had those teams kept their players fit, they would have kept that standard, then I don't think Liverpool would have won it. But, you know, in 5 years, 10 years time, no one's going to look back and say, oh, that was the season players got injured and stuff. It's down to clubs to find solutions. You know, injuries are part of the game and they're increasing the amount of games that players are playing so much now. So it's going to become something managers have to take into account when going into a season. So but we had our chances to strengthen, I think. We had our chances in January to strengthen. If we had done that, we would have given them a much bigger challenge. We didn't, got more injuries, and we paid the price. So Liverpool, yes, they had their luck with that, but you know, it's not cheating or anything. It's like it's part of the game. And it might not just be luck either. You know, like you could argue that Arsenal must be doing something wrong. When you look at...
What, because of the injuries?
Well, 3 grade 3 hamstring injuries in the space of a couple of months. You have to ask what's happening. Like, that's not a common injury. Like, most hamstring injuries are like what Martinelli had, where it's 4 weeks maybe in your back. We've had 3 surgeries. 4 if you include Reece Nelson, who's out at Fulham.
Is that not like a domino effect, though? Like, you get one player out, the other players have more load on them. So then it's more likely to get the other players.
Yeah, for sure. But
what else could be what else could it be? Something behind the scenes.
Of course, it could be something behind the scenes that we don't know about, or it could just genuinely be one player's out. Because at one point, Havertz was being run into the ground, literally.
Yeah, it's mad.
But then that's when it comes back to squad depth, rotation, that sort of thing. Like, I mean,
Liverpool had a stronger squad at the start of the season to us in terms of like maintaining a level on a broader scale.
Yes. We seem to have a squad where, well, especially in the attacking side of the pitch, I think defensively we've rotated a lot. We've had so many options. Players have been injured and we've been able to shuffle and stuff. Yeah. In the front line, we haven't. It's pretty much been the same players play if they're fit. And in the end, they suffered. Havertz suffered, Saka suffered, and that pretty much derailed the season.
Yeah. So basically, we're saying gifted.
I mean,
like if let's say Dominic's gifted,
there's a lot of fortune. There's
what
a lot
percentage
of fortune,
are you giving it? 50-50?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it just sounds too bitter to sit here and say gifted. Do you know what I mean? Like,
they did
you just have to take on the chin and say,
yeah, you've still got to win the games.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not. I don't think Chelsea had loads of injuries.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like so, Liverpool could have had a clean run with injuries and just finished 4th, 5th. Like, do you know what I mean? So they still had to win the games. It's not easy to win a Premier League despite the injuries, and Arsenal have still been good. Like, it's not. Look, I mean, based on what they've done in the Champions League and that, you can see it's still a good team.
Yeah, we've looked
despite
good,
the injuries,
but just lost silly games still,
yeah,
drawn a lot of games.
Points, and they didn't. So credit where it's due.
Yeah, and they've sort of Liverpool's grinded out a lot of results in terms of like the amount of times it's been an even game and they've nicked a 1-0 or a 2-1. Like you have to do that if you're going to win the league.
Yeah, and also to touch up on that, they would argue that even before our injuries, they were top of the league, which they were.
Were they?
Yeah.
Right at the start.
We've always been
even with Odegaard though.
We was always playing catch up.
Really?
We were never in a position to see. Like we didn't remember with the refs killed us as well. The Rice red card.
I forgot about all
there
that.
was a madness at the start of the season with the refs.
When we were on form as well.
Yeah. So we was always playing catch up from then, and then the injuries happened, and it was like too big of a catch up. So Liverpool would argue that they started strong, and then we caught our injuries, and they just maintained. So there's a lot of fortune in it, but when you look back, no one's gonna think in 5 years' time, oh, that was the year that loads of Arsenal players got injured. Like we have to change in terms of the team, the squad, and the football club, and start realising you have to win these titles no matter what. Like, you've got to find a way to win the titles. No one cares how you win them.
Otherwise, if you get an injury, you're basically saying we can't win.
Yeah, exactly.
One thing as well with Liverpool, at the start of the season, before the season really, they obviously had a new manager in Arne slot, and I was so convinced they were not going to challenge it at all. Like, coming from Klopp sort of had his players, he didn't really sign many that you'd say were his style. First season after a big manager, and he's just come in and played better.
That's another thing. Like, no one.
I wrote him off.
Yeah, no one backed them to be anywhere near a title race after Klopp. Everyone thought it'd be a similar thing to what happened to Arsenal when Wenger left, what happened to United when Fergie left. But he's come in and I wouldn't say has bettered them, but has definitely not made them any worse whatsoever.
Yeah.
And then mixed with the fortune of the other teams falling off, he's gone and won a league. You can't take any credit away from that.
Yeah, I actually think he has bettered them, I think they're less, like, I don't know if volatile is the right word, but they seem definitely more gettable at Klopp in terms of, like, we can score more goals against them, but they probably could score more goals themselves.
More goals, I'd argue, yeah.
But so they're a bit more stable, I reckon.
Yeah.
A bit more solid.
Yeah, the reason I say I don't know if they're better is because I still think if Arsenal and City were not, rippled with injuries and had the same squads as last year, I still don't think they'd be top two.
Yeah, they obviously had some key players that helped them get there. Mo Salah, just another ridiculous season. I think I'm right in saying he's got 38 goal involvements.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is broke the record, I think.
Yeah.
Do you think where do you think his shouts are in terms of Premier League wingers of all time?
Wingers?
Yeah, the best.
He'd have to be like top 3, wouldn't he?
Do you think he could get the number one spot as of now? Like, he's been doing it.
Who are we talking about?
He's another one that people wrote off.
Yeah, of course.
Like before the season, and he just comes and gets a record-breaking
season. And he will go down in history as literally one of the best. The best.
Who's better?
I still have Ronaldo over him.
What, as a Premier League though?
Ballon d'Or Ronaldo, Champions League Ronaldo.
But it's like 2-3 seasons, isn't it?
It's like 3 seasons versus Salah's lots more seasons. I hear the argument.
Yeah.
I hear the argument, but I just don't think Ronaldo terrorised the league for 3 years, and he was head and shoulders the best player in the world at that time before Messi got into the debate. So Salah's not in that position. He hasn't been. There's conversations, but no one's saying he's head and shoulders the best player in the world.
No, but that's it. But his impact's
unbelievable.
Head and shoulders like the best in the league at the moment. Do you know what I mean?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
I don't know, man. It's interesting. I think he's got a shout for it.
He's definitely. The longer he keeps doing it,
the
arguments will keep coming.
How long does he keep doing it? Do you think he's got another year at Liverpool?
I mean, he just signed another contract now.
Yeah,
Isn't
but
it?
do you reckon
Another 2
that's
years.
like just so they can get some money?
Nah.
No.
I think that means
You think he's
staying. Yeah. Why would you do that as a player?
To help the club out, so if you do leave, they can get some money for you.
Why would you help the club out?
Yeah, I don't know.
If you leave
man.
on the free, you get more money
Well, he's still getting money for his wage, though, I suppose.
for a month.
Yeah. It's a lot of money.
If he'd have done it in January,
It's a lot of money.
I'd hear the argument. But for a month, I think he's staying.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? You'd leave in for
He's
a
probably
free in a
thinking
month.
like, I've done so well this year. Let me get another year out of him.
Yeah,
and then
I think
see.
it's that. I
Yeah.
think he's going to be here at least one more year, and the question will then be, will he maintain the standards for that year? He's going to be here. He's going to get his money for another year.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it against him to put up those numbers again.
Next year.
I wouldn't put it
Yeah.
against him.
You can't now. Like
You can't, and the way he plays doesn't like make you think.
His legs are gone.
His legs don't look gone. He's really efficient with his goals and assists. It's not like he's trying to beat 4 or 5 players and score and that kind of stuff. He's really dangerous in the box. So
And he's not like a Martinelli, Sacco,
That's what I'm
like
saying.
track back loads as well.
that as well, he's got that kind of license to kind of cheat. So, I mean, if he falls off, it wouldn't surprise anyone. But if he doesn't fall off,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. And I think Liverpool fought really hard about giving him clearly, which is why they waited so long. And I think in the end, with how he's been, they're just kind of like,
you can't argue it.
why, like, you either don't give him a contract and he goes on a free, and then you have to go and buy someone of that standard. Who can you buy in the world right now? Right wingers that you think can come in and give you what Salah's given right now.
You're gonna have to pay upwards of 120 mil.
I don't know many, and if you do find that player, it will cost, like you said, a lot of money. So you might as well just give him another 2 years and hope that he maintains, or even if he gives you 90% of that output, that's still top.
Yeah. Do you think if he got injured, like either Odegaard or Saka did, how much of an effect?
I don't think Liverpool in the league if Salah got injured.
Just for a couple, just for
Just look at
5
those
weeks.
numbers and
Yeah.
take them away. I don't think they have anyone that would.
It'd be like Jota.
I don't think they'd get
Nunes.
anywhere near the numbers.
Yeah.
They're top players, by the way. They're good players, but we're talking about the drop off. Like, none of them are getting 38 goal involvements at this stage of the season. And it's you can see what happened with Arsenal when Saka got injured. I'd argue Liverpool have better options if
Especially in them areas,
in those areas. In those areas, if Salah got injured,
Jota,
those are good
Nunes,
players.
yeah.
Those are really good, like, decent players. We could have done, like, people give players like Nunes slate and stuff. We could have done with a Nunes when Havertz got injured.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Or even before, some people were saying.
Yeah, as a road, exactly. So they wouldn't have, like, they would have been.
It'd be a lot tighter,
but it would be a lot tighter.
Yeah.
He's decided so many games.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to City, more specifically Haaland. Obviously, City have struggled this year.
Yeah.
They've had a lot of injuries as well.
Yeah.
But Haaland's contract extension to 2034, which I didn't actually know about until a few days ago.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't really.
He signed that a couple months
2034. So what's that? 9 years.
9 years, yeah.
So does that tell you? Again, is that like, right, I see this as my long-term home? I know that sounds stupid after he just signed a 9-year contract, but like, people can do that without having long-term plans for the club.
Yeah, I think 9 years is a statement, right?
Yeah.
Like, 5 years is usually your long-term deal.
Yeah.
And when you sign 5 years, that definitely doesn't mean you're there for long-term.
Yeah.
You could sign 5 years, and like you said, it's almost like so that the club can get some money in, and within a year.
Or you're secure anyway, just in
Yeah,
case.
exactly.
Yeah.
9 years is, he wouldn't have had to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he
Yeah.
could have just said, "No, I want 5 years." So to me, that looks like he's happy. And you look around and you can understand where else did he go?
Madrid.
Madrid's the other option, but when he
got,
signed that, they just like they've signed Mbappe
Yeah.
like a couple of months before. You're looking at it thinking, I mean, he's there for the long term because there's nowhere else for him to go once you go to Madrid. So he'll be there for a while. Do you want to go and join him
Yeah.
if you're a Haaland type player? I don't know how that balance would go.
Yeah.
They're already struggling right now with too many like
big names.
big names, big superstars that all want to be
The guy.
So
Yeah.
you can't go Madrid. I guess Barcelona was the other shout, but they haven't got money to
Splash on him.
come and because to buy Haaland out of City would cost a lot of money.
my
They
God,
don't need money.
that would cost
you
so
know what I mean?
much.
Imagine that.
I was just thinking more like, because City have dropped off finally after 4 years of this, And it's like, all right, do they all start to leave now? And it's almost like a rebuild.
I think that
shows.
I think that was why they
made
tried
captain
hard to
as well.
do that. I think
He's been made. Got made captain.
Is
he? Yeah, I think he got made club captain. Pretty sure. So
yeah, like that's
It shows where City are not like. Their plan is right. We'll get back on it straight next year.
Of course. City, look, this happens in football all the time. It's just that finally, this happens usually a lot more frequently. They've actually won 4 leagues in a row, and then they've won like 5 at the last 6 leagues or whatever.
Yeah,
that doesn't usually happen. That kind of dominance. Usually you win 2, 3, and then this happens, and then you have to rebuild. So they're just in their rebuild. They'll be back, which is why in January as an Arsenal fan, I was thinking, let's get something and try and win this league title. You're never going to have a better chance. I think City will be back next year. Like, you can't say whether they'll win it or not, but they're going to try.
Higher standards.
Yeah, they're going to try. I mean, Haaland's had some injuries, so once, like, assuming he's fit next season, that's a 30, 40 goal striker. They've got money in abundance. Yes, they're going to have to rebuild, but they're going to sign top players. Look at how much they spent in January. I
know, but you still got to stick to. They didn't win anything this year. You got to stick to the fair play rules, haven't you? Like, I swear,
they don't seem to apply to them.
I know, yeah, it's true. They spend their money on the lawyers, don't they?
I mean, in January they spent like 200 million when no one else was spending any money. They bought Savino, they bought like that centre half. Like, they were just buying players.
So what is going on with them? Why can they just why are they just getting away with this?
I don't know. They seem to be the only club, because I remember in January everyone was like, looked like they had their hands tied behind their backs clearly, but they were just signing players.
I get it because they won the league last year and they've won a lot of trophies, but surely if they go and spend another stupid amount in the summer, they've not won anything this year, so there's going to be obviously less money coming into the club. That should mean you're not allowed to spend as much. So, I mean, this summer we'll see.
We'll see, I guess, yeah.
What do you make of the actual contract, though? Do you think 9 years is just... Do you think there's any need for it?
I mean, he's set up for his rest of his career now, isn't he?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, he could be,
He's 24. If he signs a 5-year deal...
So he's 33 there, yeah.
You're 29 by the end of it. Like, that's still...
Yeah, but I mean just the principle of a 9-year contract.
From whose perspective, though?
Just from...
Because it depends, isn't it?
I don't think it affects players like him, because he's not like, right, I need a big contract and then I'm sorted. He's not motivated by that.
He's not going to be motivated by that.
But, I don't know, would it start a trend for... I mean, I suppose it can only be a trend for the rich clubs.
It can only be a trend for the rich clubs, and I don't think it... Like, Chelsea have tried it, and I think Chelsea have overused it. I think if you've got players like Haaland, I can see... Like, if Arsenal turn around now and said they're giving Saka a 9-year contract...
I'd be buzzing. Yeah.
Right?
So, but would you... it wouldn't surprise me if his unconsciously his performance dropped slightly.
I don't think so. Like, looking at his mentality, I think he's like, you can just see he's a mentality monster. Like, he's driven by different things than just that. Like, he will want to be...
But I think it's easier over the next few years if someone gets a 9-year contract, 4 performances to slip. I don't care if you're a mentality monster or not. If you have a 9-year contract, right, and then you go... I still think it's easier subconsciously, 2 years' time, let's say.
Couldn't you say that applies to a 5-year contract?
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Set anyways.
Yeah, potentially. But, like, just compared to someone who's got 6 months left on their contract. Do you know what I mean?
I get that, definitely.
It does bring you an extra, like...
No, it 100% does, because you don't know where you're going to be in a couple of months. That definitely plays a role. I don't think 9-year contracts should become common, because for especially for clubs, unless you have a player where it's like for example with Saka, it would be because we just want no chance of him ever leaving, and we don't see any possible replacement for him, which wouldn't cost 100 million anyway. So it's kind of like you can do that for him, but it shouldn't be like a thing where you've got 3-4 players on 8-year deals, which is what Chelsea did. Yeah, exactly. And what makes more sense from someone in Saka's position and Arsenal is that they didn't have to spend millions to get him as an academy product. That's huge as well.
So you've got extra money to splash on.
I don't think Arsenal will do that. Like, I think Arsenal
9 years.
They'll give him like a 5-year deal or something.
That's Chelsea City.
Exactly.
Let's go on to Arsenal then.
Okay.
For the what would you rate their season out of 10?
I mean, the recent Champions League win has definitely pushed that up. And it's hard to say at this stage, because that can go so many different ways. If they go on and win the Champions League, you'd have to give it a 9-10, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
of course. Literally.
Well, let's go just Prem first.
Prem, I'd give it a 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5, 7 max. I'd only give something like maybe push up to a 7 because we have struggled with injuries.
Yes. Like, it even feels harsh saying that because I think given the injuries and given the squad we're working with, Arteta is still doing an unreal job. Like, second place has been like kind of cemented. No one's like...
Sort of, yeah.
Like, pretty much. Yeah. Like, this, despite the situation we've been in, that's never really been under threat. We've had no striker. He's managed to turn Mourinho into a half-decent striker.
Yeah. We've had no striker technically with Havertz. It's like people have almost conditioned now that he's a striker, but
it's
before Arsenal he wasn't.
It's because of this. When he was playing, there was a lot of conversations about he's not even an out-and-out striker and stuff. Because he's been injured and now we've had Mourinho, it's like he's definitely a striker. Mourinho's not the striker. So yeah, and then like, I mean, we started games with Sterling, Wanyeri, and Trossard as a front three. Like that was at the peak of our injuries. That was our front three.
So fair play, we finished second.
So yeah, so you can't give them too much slack. But we finished second 2 seasons in a row. Last season it went down to the last day. You're then expecting the next season to be better. I don't think this season has been better than any of those 2 seasons. Given the injuries, of course, I understand. But I mean, like I said, you look back 2, 3, 4 years' time, no one's going to say, oh, but you had injuries. You're just going to look at your points total where you finished, and it's second. And it's not as good of a title challenge as the last 2 years.
So let's say we get to the Champions League final, right? But we don't win it.
Then I'd push it up to like an 8.5.
An 8, yeah. And then if we win it, it's just like...
Then obviously it's pretty much a 10, isn't it?
Yeah, fair play. Okay. I'd probably be the same. What do you reckon our chances of winning the league? The Champions League?
The chances are decent.
Like, I think we'll beat PSG. I think we turn them over, man. It's just Barca, I think, going to do us.
I think the Real Madrid was a big test. Mentally, I mean, psychologically. Well, obviously, they've got a top team as well. And we've kind of gone through that pretty much unscathed, like it was nothing. 5-1, beat them away, beat them at home. So psychologically, that should give them a huge boost because that squad hasn't done anything like that yet. As good as the team is and stuff, like, they haven't done that. They haven't gone into Europe and beat a European giant like that. So they should now be looking at PSG. We beat them this season as well. Should be looking at them as we can do them over 2 legs. 100%. And then it's step by step though, isn't it? Who will we get in the final? I mean, Barca or Inter. I don't even think Barca's guaranteed to get in the final. Yeah. It's the Champions League.
But I think we got a harder game against Barca if we play them. I think so, personally. I think we can turn.
It's a one-off game though, the Champions League final. So I'm more like, let's get there.
See what happens.
And then if we get there, like, you've got to think you've got a real chance.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go back to the league. Leicester obviously went down.
Yeah.
For me, that was unexpected. Obviously, they brought in from United the manager
Van Nistelrooy.
Van Nistelrooy, yeah. So they brought in Van Nistelrooy. They've gone down, but Leeds and Burnley have got promoted recently. Do you think, first of all, Leeds and Burnley will stay up next season? Because it's pretty much, what is it? It's all the promoted teams that are just going straight back down.
It's becoming a trend now, isn't it? It's just the promoted teams straight back down. I mean, they will have the opportunity now to see very clearly that that's what's happening. And if they want to stay in the Premier League, they know what they have to do in the summer. It's as clear as that. Like, you have to do a lot. Because like you said, when Leicester came up, I thought that was Leicester coming back to where they kind of belong. As much as...
That's why I was a bit shocked that they went down.
They've been in the Premier League for a long time, even won the Premier League. Yeah. When they went down, it was like a shock.
Yeah.
They pissed the league and come straight back up, and you're thinking, okay, they now just come back and settle, and they didn't manage to do it. They've gone back down, so that shows
the gap's just getting
getting bigger. So Leeds and Burnley and whoever else comes up third, look, if they want to have any chance of survival, they'll have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, and risk it basically. I think Leeds will stay up. Burnley.
The problem is as well, though,
they got a chance, man. They got a better chance than Southampton. Yeah.
The problem is, for example, if you look at this season, who's 17th, 16th, 15th, it's like, do you back any of? Obviously, they might not be there
good teams,
season, but they're very good teams. Yeah. That's why when you look at the league, it's like them three had to go. You've got teams like West Ham, Wolves, Spurs, like just above it. It's like
Yeah, Spurs are 16th,
Yeah.
West Ham 17th, Man United 14th. Like you've got to start challenging these teams.
Do you
now.
know what I mean? It's like, what? Do you think Leeds can come and challenge? Like, look, we'll see, isn't it? But you can see why it's a big ask.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't want it to just be that every year. Otherwise, it just gets a bit boring.
That'll get dead.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they'll have to change it. I know Fulham came not too long ago and have managed to do really well now and stuff like. Yeah, you'll have to pump money in. And try and compete with the big boys. Yeah.
Well, back onto the season that's just about to wrap up.
Yeah.
Do you think there's been any sort of breakout players that have not overperformed, but like, you know, have got their name out there a bit more, played really well that maybe people didn't know too much about before?
I mean, from an Arsenal's perspective, it's obvious to talk about Miles Lewis-Skelly and Wanyeri.
Yeah, of course.
Just because at the start of the season, I know Wanyeri made his debut last season or the season before.
Especially Lewis-Skelly, because he seems to have...
Lewis-Skelly was definitely like... I didn't know who he was. I don't think a lot of Arsenal fans knew who he was. And now he's managed to be Arsenal's left-back, like first-choice left-back.
Scored for England on his debut.
Scored for England on his debut.
Still 18.
Like, went to the Bernabeu and played like he's been there before. So that could be the best example. Obviously, it's an Arsenal perspective, but literally coming from nowhere, like academy, to now being an England left back, that's a huge transformation in one season. He's put his name on the map, and it, you know, it's up to him how well he's going to do now.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it. He's definitely, again, we're Arsenal fans, but he's probably up there as one of the biggest breakouts. But I'm trying to think if there's any others that have really like sort of got. I mean, Liam Delap's done well.
Yeah, he's done well.
He's done well. Who is it? Is it Brentford centre mid who's half getting England and Scotland shouts now? I can't remember his name. Okay, so Lewis-Skelly seems to be the number one for us. Biggest overachieving team of the season and underachieving will do.
Overachieving has to be Nottingham Forest, no?
That's
like,
got to be.
What are they doing in the Champions League spot? Like, fair play, innit?
Yeah.
Like, that's got to be. And what's the other one?
Underachieving.
There's a long list.
It's got to be
Spurs
or United.
It's got to be one of them two. I guess Spurs are 16, so we have to just say Spurs.
Yeah. I reckon Spurs underachieving, Forest over.
Yeah.
What would you put Forest's like success down to this season?
Momentum in football is huge. Once they started and got going, it's a lot harder to stop a train that's moving than to get one going that's not moving. And that goes both ways. United, Spurs, etc. never got going. Pressure starts building on the manager, the team and stuff, and that becomes tough to turn around. When you're flying, you go into games just genuinely thinking we'll win today.
Yeah.
And that mentality is an extra 5%.
And compared to like Forest going into games thinking we'll win, and United, the expectations on United to go into games.
Yes, and the fact that they're contrasting in terms of expectations as well. Nottingham Forest are going into games thinking we'll win today, but it doesn't really matter if we don't.
Exactly.
So they've gone, Chris Wood scores hat-tricks and like they're flying. United's like we have to win today, but we're not confident. But everyone expects us to win.
Yeah. Even if we win, we're probably going to get slated for our performance.
Anyways, and there's just mad negative. That's the thing as well. That environment you can tell must be really toxic. Like even when Rashford was there and there was all of that going on with him, like the goalkeeper now, lots of questions about him. You can just tell the environment wouldn't be nice. Whereas you go to a Forest and you see him on social media laughing, joking every day, you can tell that'd be a proper tight-knit group.
And it would be a nice place to go to every day. Whereas United, I can say this truthfully now, I would not want to go play for United right now.
If you're a player,
it's just going to be hell every day in training. Like it's just there's loads of pressure. You can't win.
You can't win.
How could you? I'm trying to think of a winning scenario. You can't.
You have to get back in the top four as a minimum.
Yeah, and you have to look good in every game. As a team.
Forget it. Every time they lose, there's talks about how they're falling off. There's comparisons to the old United. It's long.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be at the moment, in my opinion. But we'll go to, we said underachieving Spurs. No need for an explanation there. Let's go to like the worst and best transfers of the season. So it could be from the summer or January, but like players you thought would go somewhere, do well and haven't, or vice versa. Because I have one that's come to mind that I was disappointed with. I thought could have gone better, was Eddie Nketiah to Palace. I thought we'd go there, right, and start every game, and I thought he'd score so many goals. I'm not going to lie. He scored like good amounts for Arsenal when he played for his minutes, and he sort of struggled to get in the team.
Yeah, his goals per minute ratio at Arsenal was always really good, and if you watched him closely, you could see there's a top striker in there, and he seems to have the work ethic to match. Like Arteta loved him. It was just obviously playing for Arsenal is that much more of a jump. I expected him to go at Palace and score goals.
I thought it'd suit him well.
I thought he'd have 2-3 good seasons, and then it's the type of thing where you'd be thinking, should we get him back? Kind of like thing. And I don't think that's done, by the way. I back him to.
Was he on loan there though?
No, he's there permanently. I mean, I don't think like he can't revive himself next season.
No, of course not.
There's a player in there, and he's got the work ethic to match. But obviously, this season would be underwhelming by his standards.
And it's Mateta that's keeping him out of the team.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, but Mateta's been really good.
He has been really good. He has been really good. At first glimpse, it wouldn't be someone I thought, like I've seen him train loads, and it wouldn't be someone I thought would keep someone like Nketiah out of the team.
So this is the thing, right? I don't think that was the plan. Yeah. Like they've signed Eddie to play, but Mateta's.
You can't argue with the results.
Like I think first few games, Mateta's basically performed better. And after a while, the manager's just going to pick who's performing better. And you'd say that's fair competition over there. Like in other places, the guy who's just signed, big money signing, he's playing regardless of if he's performing or not. And that's not always the best way to do it. I think the best way to do it is what they've done, literally play whoever's in form. And it just means Eddie's had to sit out and wait. But his time will come, I think.
Yeah. And what about the best?
Best?
Someone who's just either over your expectations or just like you thought you'd do well and they've done great. I mean, Marino could be a shout.
Yeah,
he's done good.
He's done good in the last 2 months, I'd say.
Yeah,
that's the only reason. But otherwise, it could be a shout.
Who have Liverpool signed?
That's what I'm trying to think.
Sensio for Villa. I think Ian Mateson's done well.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he joined in the summer.
Yeah.
Ian Mateson. I don't know. There's not many like mad standout ones, is there?
Not from this season signings.
Like Dom Solanke obviously joined Spurs, didn't hit. He started off well.
He started off well, but then I think he got injured and stuff, slowed down.
Yeah, I don't know. Should we give it to Ian Mateson?
Yeah, he's been good.
Yeah,
and Villa have been good to be fair as well. So